You know that feeling when you pick up your phone for a second and somehow 40 minutes disappear? You weren't even looking for anything in particular, just a quick check, a small break, but your thumb keeps moving. One headline becomes another, one video becomes five. Your eyes feel slightly strained, your chest a little tight, but stopping feels strangely harder than continuing. And when you finally put the phone down, there's a quiet heaviness. Not dramatic, just a low hum of unease. Most people talk about this like it's a discipline problem, like it's laziness, like it's a lack of willpower. But that explanation never quite fits, because this doesn't feel careless, it feels compulsive, almost vigilant. And there's usually something underneath it. We call it doomscrolling, the habit of continuously consuming negative news or distressing content online. It's often framed as a bad digital habit, a modern flaw, another sign that our attention spans are broken. But there's more going on here than people realize. Your brain is not scrolling randomly, it's scanning. From a neuroscience perspective, human attention is naturally biased toward threat. Researchers sometimes call it negativity bias. The brain prioritizes potentially dangerous information because historically that kept us alive. The amygdala, the region involved in detecting threat, activates more quickly to negative stimuli than positive ones. It's faster to register risk than reward. In other words, your nervous system is built to notice what might go wrong. Now, place that ancient survival system inside a device that delivers an endless stream of global crises, social conflict, uncertainty, and outrage, all formatted to keep your attention. Your brain doesn't experience this as casual browsing. It experiences it as monitoring the environment. Some studies show that uncertainty itself is deeply activating for the nervous system. When situations feel unstable or unpredictable, the brain seeks information to reduce ambiguity. Information feels like control, even when that information is distressing. So when you scroll through negative news, part of you may be trying to answer a quiet internal question: am I safe? What's happening? Do I need to prepare? The behavior isn't irrational, it's protective. And that's where it becomes more personal. People who tend to doomscroll aren't indifferent. They're sensitive, attuned, conscientious. They care about what's happening in the world. They want to understand it. They want to be informed. Sometimes they feel responsible for staying aware. But there's another layer. If you grew up in an environment where things felt unpredictable, emotionally, financially, relationally, your nervous system may have learned to stay alert, to scan for shifts, to read the room, to anticipate what might happen next. That adaptation doesn't just disappear because the context changes. It can attach itself to whatever feels like the environment now. And in a hyper-connected world, the environment is global. So, scrolling becomes a modern version of an old strategy: monitor the horizon. For some people, there's also a subtler emotional regulation pattern at play. When internal anxiety feels vague or undefined, external threats can give it shape. It's sometimes easier to focus on a concrete headline than on a diffuse internal unease. The mind prefers a named danger to an unnamed one. There's research suggesting that uncertainty is often more stressful than bad news itself. The unknown keeps the stress response activated, so the brain keeps searching, refreshing, looking for resolution. But online, there is no resolution, only more updates. This creates a loop. The dopamine system, which helps regulate motivation and seeking behavior, gets involved, not because the content is pleasurable, but because it's new, variable, intermittent. The same mechanism that keeps people pulling slot machines can keep a thumb moving down a screen. It's not weakness, it's reinforcement. And yet, it doesn't usually feel good. That's the paradox. Doomscrolling is often an attempt to feel more in control, more informed, more prepared. But the effect is often the opposite. The body becomes more tense, sleep becomes lighter, the world feels heavier. The very strategy meant to reduce anxiety can amplify it. It's important to say this clearly. This isn't a moral issue. It's not better to be offline, and it's not worse to be highly informed. Different nervous systems cope with uncertainty in different ways. Some people detach, some distract, some dive deep into information. None of these responses are inherently right or wrong. They are attempts at regulation. And doomscrolling, for many, is a form of self-regulation that once made sense. There's also something quietly human in it. To scroll through tragedy and conflict is, in a strange way, to bear witness, to care, to refuse indifference. Some people fear looking away means not caring, that staying informed is a form of responsibility. That instinct speaks to empathy. But empathy without boundaries can exhaust the nervous system. The brain was designed to respond to threats within a tribe-sized circle, not a planet-sized one. When every crisis feels immediate and personal, the stress response rarely powers down fully. Over time, this can create a baseline of low-grade hyperarousal. Not panic, just a steady hum. You might notice it in how hard it feels to truly relax, or in the reflex to check your phone during quiet moments. Silence can feel unfamiliar, even unsafe, as if not monitoring means missing something important. And yet, here's the deeper layer. Often, doomscrolling isn't only about the world, it's also about avoiding something closer. When you scroll late at night, when you refresh again after already knowing the headlines, there may be something in the background of your own life that feels unresolved. A decision, a conversation, a lingering dissatisfaction. The endless feed offers temporary escape from internal reflection. External noise can drown out internal discomfort. This doesn't mean you're avoiding life. It means your mind has found a socially acceptable way to shift attention outward when inward feels uncertain. And again, that makes sense. Your nervous system is always trying to find equilibrium. If stillness brings up unease, stimulation can feel stabilizing. If uncertainty feels threatening, information can feel soothing, even when it's alarming. You are not broken for participating in this loop. You are living in an environment that constantly activates ancient circuitry. The part of you that scrolls is not careless, it's vigilant. It's trying to protect you from being caught off guard. It's trying to prepare you. In some cases, it's trying to care. But you are allowed to recognize the cost without condemning the instinct. You are allowed to notice how your body feels after prolonged scrolling. The subtle contraction, the mental fog, the restlessness, not as a judgment, just as data. Because once you see the pattern clearly, something shifts. The behavior stops being automatic and starts being understandable. And when something is understandable, it becomes less powerful. If this feels familiar, there may be more to explore. Not just about your relationship with your phone, but how your nervous system learned to relate to uncertainty in the first place. The scrolling is only the surface. Underneath it is a very human system doing its best to feel safe in a world that rarely feels stable. If that resonates, stay with that curiosity. There's more there than most people ever pause long enough to notice. If this felt like something you needed to hear today, there's more ahead. Every video on this channel is built around one idea, that understanding how your mind works is the quietest and most powerful form of change. If that resonates with you, stay close. There's a video on screen right now that might help you concentrate. Let me know in the comments what would you like the next video to be about.